Hello, everyone. Good evening to you all and happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing fine. So, okay, so our speaker for today. So, this is a training session for leaders, team leadership training session. However, it's also open for members as well. Mene Blessing is a fantastic person, wonderful social entrepreneur, social innovator. He's the co-founder of CEO and founder of VetArc and also the co-founder of Inspire Africa. He's one of the major initiator for this program as well. He has won numerous awards, including the School World Forum Emerging Leaders Award, Google Impact Challenge. If you know the Google Impact Challenge that took place 2 years ago or 3 years ago, VetArc was the grand prize winner. It was honored by the vice president's wife, and he also won the gold prize category for the Unleash Innovation Lab in Denmark. So you learned a lot of the experience he had working in the team and how he won that challenge. He's an Ashoka Global Fellow, Young Laureate. Many of you know Ashoka as one of the leading social entrepreneurship organization in the world. And he won also the Unilever Sustainable Living Young Entrepreneurs Award in 2015. He's a Global Good Fund Fellow on Reasonable Institute. Like, he has won numerous competitions, and not just that, he has gotten awards and recognition from so many wonderful universities globally, including Stanford, George Washington, so many wonderful universities. So you'll be glad to listen to him speak. If you were in the meeting yesterday, you heard when one of the speaker, Andrew, who is also doing very well today, mentioned that he interned with him. He interned with him, I think, a few years ago for about 6 months. And that was the catapult to Andrew's business. Right now, Andrew is a major success in Nigeria when it comes to startup. So I'm excited to have him today. I'm going to quickly unmute him and then give him the audience to speak. So 1 second. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Just confirm that you can hear me.
You can, yeah, put that on the chat box. We can hear you very well.
Okay, great. It's an honor to connect with each and every one of you. It is really exciting to connect with every leader on this call today. Today, there are people from across Nigeria and other parts of Africa who are on this call. And one of the reasons I wanted to speak to each of you is because every one of you here today, you're special people, and you're special to my heart, right? You're special to my heart, you're dear to my heart, and that is why I wanted to have some time to talk with you today. Some time ago, I actually spent the early part of my life and career, part of it in the northern part of Nigeria, and I attended the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. And being a young person, we all know how it feels many times where you have your idea or your innovation, but you do not have the resources needed to make that idea a reality. And because of that constraint in capital, many times ideas either die, people either transition to looking for jobs at something they are not talented at, or at programs or jobs where they have no passion, and because of that, we've seen a constraint in the ability of young people to make their dreams possible. And so today, I want to share with you my story of how I broke that barrier, how I was able to, from nothing, from zero, how I was able to attract resources and build my capacity to become influential, my capacity to grow businesses and NGOs, I feel that if you are able to learn that today, um, the lessons you would pick today would go a very long way to helping each and every one of you with your own um, individual careers, individual businesses, and then hopefully you might get some 1 or 2 points that would help you win this challenge. So I always like sharing this story because this story is just a story of grace. It's a story of grace. I remember sometime in 2011 or 2012, right? I was actually trying to raise some capital for my business. And I talked to a number of people. Some of them were multi-millionaires. Unfortunately, none of them gave me money. None of them gave me capital. And nobody was willing to help. And with that in mind, I remember one day I was just having like, I think 200 naira, which is like half of a dollar, right? And I was trying to get lunch. And that day, instead of buying lunch, I went into a cyber cafe, you know, that was nearby, and I began to research about international opportunities, to participate in. And one of such programs I participated in was an event called the Dell Social Innovation Competition, which was being sponsored by Michael Dell of Dell Computers, and also partly sponsored and organized by the University of Texas at Austin. I participated in that program, um, but I did not win, you know. However, I ranked among the top 50 in the world. My team was among the top 50 in the world, which is something similar to you guys today, among the top 50 or so in Africa. And something happened to me. Just knowing that I made it to the top. I mean, I did not come first or second, but coming among the top, 50 was a big deal to me because we're talking of the world, we're talking of the continent, and that made me believe in myself. I just felt that uh, I have capacity to make something happen. I mean, this great organization selected me as a top leader in the world. Therefore, there is something right about me. These weird ideas I've always had, there is potential in them. The fact that I am not receiving the support I need in my environment does not mean that there is something wrong with me, right? There is something wrong with the environment, but not me. I know that really encouraged me. I had a very funny incident. I was trying to compete among the top 10, was it top 10 or top 5 in the world? And I borrowed a friend's laptop, and I was attending a government university. So look at what happened. I borrowed the laptop and then I went to work. I was supposed to submit our reports, something similar to what you guys are working on. I was supposed to submit it in the evening, I think like 5 a.m. the following morning because I was submitting it to the US. And guys, do you guys know what happened? I worked on the proposal, on the document, and by the time I was done, I submitted it successfully. Then I was like, it was about 5 a.m. in the morning, so I couldn't go back to the hostel because I was working in the class, in the lecture theater. So I decided to lay my head down for like 1 or 2 hours so that I could return the laptop back to the owner who was in the hostel. And guys, immediately I put my head down, I dozed off. Bottom line of the story, I woke up 2 hours later with only the laptop charger. Just the laptop charger. The laptop was gone. Somebody has helped their destiny with the laptop. Somebody stole the laptop. And just to wake up with the charger, I was supposed to return the laptop that morning. So I took just the charger with me to the owner of the laptop. It was a very interesting incident, but it's one that I will not forget. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, I was so broke that buying a laptop, like a laptop is a very big thing. It's a very, very big commodity. And so losing another person's laptop, was so much of a challenge. However, um, I think I tried to pay back. I couldn't do that. I had to ask for forgiveness, and that passed. The following year, I tried to participate in a program called Global Social Entrepreneurship Competition, which was being hosted by University of Washington at Seattle, and that program was sponsored by Microsoft. Um, I tried applying for this program, but guys, I don't know how many of you have tried to apply for some grants, and you see the questions they're asking you, you just get discouraged. When you try to fill some of those forms, they will ask you some questions like that. By the time you go to number 5, you're already tired. You know, the questions are just so hard. So what I did was that I had to, just I couldn't answer all the questions, so I just had to skip. So there's a lesson I want you guys to pick. I did something which I had not done before. I copied all the questions and saved them in Microsoft Word. And then I made myself a promise that by next year, I would apply for this program and I would be among the winners. So I spent 1 year reading about social entrepreneurship, studying social entrepreneurship, trying to understand this social entrepreneurship or social impact. What is it about? What do people mean when they talk about social return on investment? And so 1 year of study about social entrepreneurship, I studied the answers to those questions. I did a lot of research. 1 year later, I was very solid. And the lesson I want you to learn is that there is no task that is impossible. There is no opportunity that is beyond your reach. And there is no mountain that you cannot conquer. There is no task that is impossible. There is no opportunity that is beyond your reach. And there is no task that you cannot conquer. That's the truth. I invested 1 year into that. By the grace of God, at the end of that 1 year, I applied to that program again. I think that was 2012 or so. I applied to that program again. And guys, guess what happened? I emerged among the top 16 teams in the world, my team. And I was invited to the United States of America for the first time to present my idea before a panel of judges. And guys, it was a wonderful experience. It was a life transforming experience for me, visiting the US and, just knowing that even though you are in Zaria, you are in Cote d'Ivoire, you are in Kenya, Uganda, you are in Kampala, you are in Soweto, you are in any country of the world. It doesn't matter if you are in a village or you are in the poorest parts of any community. It doesn't matter. The truth is that your day is coming, your season is coming, and the spotlight will be on you. Your season of shining is just a season away. And I really want to encourage every one of you here because you are all leaders, and a leader is worth 1,000 followers. One leader, it's better to talk to one leader than to talk to 1,000 followers. And so I want you to know that you have a season of shining. There is that season of preparation, but you also have a season of harvest, a season of shining, and your time is coming. And I will not forget the experience I had in Washington. It completely broke the chains of limitations, the chains of fear, the trauma of not being able to raise capital completely died. And that year, I did not win first position. But being among the top 16 in the world in the global social entrepreneurship competition that year did something to my heart. My heart became bigger. And as a result, I stopped being afraid of people from Harvard, people from Stanford, people from MIT. I mean, if you are from an Ivy League university, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of competing with someone with an MBA or someone who is from the greatest of companies. No, I'm not afraid. That fear completely died. And I remember very well, after some time, the following year, I applied again to that program. And by the grace of God, um, the following year when I applied, I won. I won the grand prize, the global prize for the global social entrepreneurship competition. And that was the first and probably only time an all African team ever won the global prize. And that completely made my life beautiful. After then, I mean, the awards just kept coming in. I began winning other awards, and by the grace of God, today I'm an Ashoka Fellow. I'm a Global Good Fund Fellow. I'm a laureate of the International Youth Foundation. I won a number of prizes. Now, the goal is not to win prizes. The goal is to make impact. So let's talk about the impact that I've made. And one of the reasons I participated in competitions was so that I could have capital to implement my ideas. And one of the ideas I started with was a program called Blocks. It was an educational service business meant to provide people information about international scholarships and competitions that they are eligible for. I no longer run that business. Another one I started was a program called On Fire. Unorthodox feeds innovation for enterprising rural farmers. And the idea was to develop low cost animal feed innovation for smallholder farmers. And I worked on that and impacted a number of farmers here in Nigeria. And I also did some work with USAID, Nigeria Market School Program, where I developed a method of farming the black soldier fly um, at a very local level or small scale level. And I won an award for that in Denmark. That was about a few years ago. And I am so proud of the fact that one of my students today owns one of the biggest factories for black soldier fly production in the United States of America. So it is something I'm very, very proud of right now in terms of the impact that I have had. Right now, I'm sure you would have seen this scene playing on the background of my video. And what you see behind me is my current innovation called Farm God, which is a product of Bet's Arc Limited, an organization I founded. And right now we're focused on developing technology for smallholder farmers in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. We've created a simple application that helps farms manage their farms, and all that. So you can learn more about it at farmgod.org, and you can learn more about my work at betsarc.com. With that being said, I believe that I have been able to teach you about my story, which is very important to the context of our meeting today. Today, I want to talk about leadership. So I'm going to ask everybody on this call, what is leadership in your opinion? So I would like you to type it out on the chat box. How would you define leadership? How would you define leadership? Good. Okay, I mean, that's a good one. Leadership is influence. Good. Carol says leadership is influence over others. Okay, good. Let's get some more. Thank you very much for those two. Bossman blessing. For me, I see a leader as one who is called for a people. It's not about them, but for the growth of the people. Very good. That's also good. Kenny from Cote d'Ivoire says leadership is resilience. Gregory says leadership is about identifying and solving problems. Good. Arobe, leadership is the ability to infuse growth of others. Elizabeth, leadership is the ability to serve and impact others. Israel, leadership is using necessary tactics to achieve a certain goal or developmental objective. Leadership is service towards humanity. Okay. Leadership is stewardship. Good. Leadership is grooming others into greatness. Chris says leadership is foresight and ability to guide others in direction. Julius, leadership is the ability to motivate and influence people towards achieving a goal that is worthwhile. Good. Tom Kiwi says leadership is the ability to deliver with the contributory effort of an organized team. Good. Abimbola says leadership is the ability to identify a problem and work in collaboration to achieve the goal. Fantastic definition from every one of you. Thank you guys so much for contributing to this conversation. Now, when you take a look at each of these definitions that have been given here, let's start with the first one. Leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. That is a very good definition. And I think one of the people who has really propagated that is Dr. John Maxwell. John Maxwell talks about leadership as influence, and I agree with that. Um, you know, what is influence? When we talk about influence, or when we talk about leadership, many times we think of it in terms of influence. That is very right, because without influence, you cannot be a leader, you cannot lead other people. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Based on this definition of influence, and then also based on the definition of leadership is about growing others and contributing to other people. Leadership is about solving problems, okay, and all that. Okay, good. I want to ask you guys a question. In your opinion, what would you define as the greatest character of a leader? What would you define as the greatest character of a leader? What is that one attribute that if a leader does not have? If a leader does not have that, I call that. Let's see. Okay. Sacrifice from Kenny. Okay, Kenny, that's a good one. Selflessness, wisdom. Bossman, Israel says wisdom. Deviant, emotionally intelligent. Sephiat, empathy. Okay. Lusengo, empathy, okay, Caro. Etiwe, resilience. Nzekwe, service. Tom Kiri is saying the greatest character of a leader is the ability to lead. Yeah, Tom Kiri. But like that's, I think we're still defining leadership there. But I'm asking of what kind of character do you think that without that character a leader cannot lead? Passion. Precious is saying effective communication. Elizabeth says a visionary, vision. Saratu says patience. Another one, Abimbola says collaboration. Okay, Tom Kiri says stewardship, selflessness. Agbola says vision. Okay, okay, these are really good contributions. Okay, guys, let's examine this thing, this concept of leadership very, very well. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question. When you talk about a great leader, who comes to mind? Who comes to your mind? Now we're talking about leadership. Which person, can you mention someone that comes to mind when we talk about a leader? Okay, good. Obama. Chinyelu, good. Mandela. John Maxwell. Alexander the Great. Jesus. Nelson Mandela. Thomas Sankara. Okay. Abraham Lincoln. Gandhi. Kenny. Kenny is a politician. Okay. Obafemi Awolowo. Blessing. Oh, Blessing Bossman says me. Ibrahim says Prophet Muhammad. Lawal, yeah. Bafemi Awolowo, yeah. Prophet Muhammad, yeah, I agree. You guys have mentioned, yeah, Cynthia Mene, Jesus Christ, yeah. Thank you very much for that. Okay, guys. Um, I think there is somebody here. I would like to use her example. Blessing Bossman said me. You know, many times, and I think I really like that. I really love that. Nobody on this call mentioned themselves as a great leader. And that is why I want to change your perception today. That when people mention leadership, what should come to your mind should be yourself. You know? So we have 30 people on this call. Only one person saw themselves as a great leader. I am reminded of a story, um, an old story of ancient Israel, where 10 people were sent to spy on a land. Unfortunately, 8 people came back with a bad report, and they said that, oh, if you go to that country, you know, the people in that country are very big. They are like Goliaths. They are mighty people. You know, they are so big and bold that we look like grasshoppers before them. Grasshoppers before them. Um, you know, but only 2 people came back and said that these people were able to defeat them. We will be able to conquer them. Now, the reason I mentioned that old story is because how you see yourself matters. Until you see yourself as the leader that people can follow, right? Everything about leadership is going to look far. It's going to look in the future to you. Now let's go back to some of those definitions that you gave earlier and some of the characteristics you mentioned. Now let's talk about, I think some people mentioned vision and you mentioned passion and other things. So let's start with vision. So let's talk about vision. Great leadership starts with having a vision of who you want to become. Many times we think of leadership as something assigned to the likes of Nelson Mandela. I respect Nelson Mandela, I respect Barack Obama, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and some of these great people that you have mentioned today, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and all these great men. I respect every one of them. However, it is very important that you see them as examples of shining lights. These are people who have set a track record. They have set an example for our generation to follow. In terms of leadership, one of the most important characteristics is to have a vision of who you want to become. You know, I cannot overemphasize this. A vision of you is more important first because how you see yourself becomes the map upon which you act. So let me give you an example. Now let's say you live in Cote d'Ivoire, and then there is another person here who lives in Burkina Faso. Now let's imagine for a minute that you visited Cote d'Ivoire and you're supposed to visit a street in Cote d'Ivoire called Lagos Street. All right? Lagos Street, number 20, Lagos Street. Now, if I gave you a map to look for number 20 Lagos Street, you would use that map to get to that location. Now, imagine that in Burkina Faso, there was also a street called number 20 Lagos Street. Now, if I gave you the wrong map, you would still get to Lagos Street, but you would get to the wrong Lagos Street, right? So when we say leadership is influence, for example, Before even diving deep into leadership is influence, it is leadership is first about self-definition. How do I define myself? How do I define myself? How do I see myself? Now, if I gave you a wrong map, you'll get to the wrong destination. And it is for that reason that if people have the wrong definition or perception of themselves, it doesn't matter how great a leader they become, they will do a terrible job. So let's talk about you. How do you see yourself? So before I dive deep into that, I want you to tell me, how do you see yourself? I want you to write it in the chat box. Tell me, how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? Nice. Organic Carol says, I see myself as the answer to this generation. Okay, that's good. Vivian and Sephiat, we haven't heard from you guys today. Sam, oh, Arame, good. Change maker, good. Nation builder, Akbola. Top 10 most influential women in the world. Nice. Akwesiri says, I see myself as a solution provider. Good. Bossman says, I see myself as one who has been given the keys to nations. To whom more is given, more is expected. Good. David says, I see myself as the brains to any idea. Good. Awosiku says, I see myself as a global social innovator. Good. 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 Okay. These are all very okay. Opeyemi says, I'm a problem solver. I'm asking you guys a lot of tough questions, right? So I see myself as a change maker, Isaac. Good. Now I want to say something here, and I need you to invest some time to think about this. Zahara says, Zahara says, fantastic. Thank you guys for sharing. Now, there's something I want you to do after you leave this call. I want you to take out, even if it's 30 minutes, to think about yourself and redefine how you see yourself. Many times we define ourselves by I'm a great problem solver, I'm a purposeful innovator, I'm a change maker, I'm an innovator, I'm an entrepreneur. But really, what you're saying, you're defining a job description. You're defining yourself by what you do. Because you are a problem solver. Actually, you're defining yourself by what you do. We are not human doings, we are human beings. Now, the implication of that statement is that I want to challenge you to think differently about yourself. Have you ever observed that when you meet someone, especially a young person like yourself, I mean, if you're not in university, you're going to ask them, hello, my name is Opeyemi Gregory, or Blessing, and I am a graduate of XYZ University or student of XYZ University or the CEO of XYZ Limited. Now, many times when you meet people, one of the first things you ask them is like, what do you do, right? And it's so terrible because we define ourselves by what we do, not by who we are. Was it Dr. Stephen Covey who said that if you have bad leadership, what you have is bad. Like in the field of medicine, once the leadership is bad, you would have bad medicine. In the field of education, once leadership is bad, you have bad education, right? In the field of politics, once leadership is bad, you have bad politicians. The same thing applies here. So we need to move a step further to defining ourselves from not by what we do, but by who we are. Myself that I am a trustworthy person. All right, I'm a trustworthy person. Trust means a lot to me. Number two is that I do things to help people prosper economically. So every conversation I have and every activity I do is because I have an intention to help people prosper economically. All right. Um, Now I define myself by my mission in life, and my mission is to help people prosper economically. Now based on this perception I have of myself, every other thing flows. So one of the things I do to help people prosper economically is to run a business. So in that case, I'm a social innovator. Um, Other times I might run a business for profit. In that case, I'm an entrepreneur. Another way I help people prosper is to speak. So in that context, I'm a speaker. I could also write a book. In that context, I have a book called The Winning Streak, right? The Winning Streak. Now, in that context, I am an author. So I define myself based on who I am. And I think was it David? David mentioned that I'm the brain behind the ideas. So for David, for example, you need to dig deep into yourself and unleash your creative spirit. You are a creative person, right? You're a creative person, and for that reason, you define yourself based on who you are. And there's something else I'm going to encourage everybody on this call to do. After you immediately you leave this call, please take a few minutes to do it. There is a test online called 16 personalities.com, and then there is another one called DISC Personality Assessment. Then there's another one called Myers-Briggs. Myers-Briggs, MYERS-BRIGGS. Now, some of these tests are very important to help you understand your personality type, how you're made. Do you understand? Because if, for example, you are working with someone like David, David is a creative person. So David is most likely going to have a ton of ideas about how to get this done. Some of you on this call might be disciplinarians. Some of you might be organized. You are naturally organized. You don't like things being disorganized. As a result, that is going to influence your leadership style, right? So we're now transitioning into leadership style. Okay, Kara is asking for the links. Just Google it. I mean, if you're on this call, just Google 16 personalities. I think just Google 16, type it out, personalities. Just Google it. I think the website will come out. Then there's another one called Myers-Briggs. Then there's DSIC test. So you can do the. I think they are free. All of them. You can do the free version online just to have an idea of who you are. I want to encourage you to. So we call this self-awareness. So I've talked about who you are as a person. Now let's talk about self-awareness. How many of you here on this call know your personality type? You can just say yes or no. Yes, no, yes, no. Just to give me an idea. Okay, good. Oh, good, good, good. Oh, good, 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 good. So good. Even if you know your personality test, please go online, especially the 16 personalities. Try and take that test, all right? I think it's probably about 20, 30 minutes. Just to know your style of leadership, the kind of person that you are. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because if you do not know who you are, you will not understand your map. Your map is the paradigm upon which you act. Now, if you know you are a creative person, you know that naturally on a team you would always be the one to create, to bring out the ideas. Now, having once you know that naturally you are an idea person, as a leader, because as a leader you want to be collaborative, right? You want other people to contribute, right? So what you then do is that you kind of be a little bit mild, all right? And then you give other people rooms to contribute their own ideas first before yourself. If you are an organized person, when you start working in a team, you might realize that some people are disorganized. Some people may be like, they might not want to respond back to you until it's 5 minutes to the deadline. All right. Now, you would naturally be very angry because you are an organized person. Now, when you know the type of person that you are, it helps you to understand other people's excesses and to be very patient towards them. All right. So I want to encourage you to know your personality type. And then there are some people that certain things make them angry. So I've talked about understanding yourself. I've talked about understanding your leadership or personality type. Now I want to talk about adapting your leadership style to your team. So because I worked on a number of international teams before, and the first time you meet, everybody tries to, my name is this, I'm this, and then everybody's trying to do what is called a visit. Everybody tries to show themselves, I'm valuable and all that. But when the work starts, some people will vanish. Some people will just vanish. Some people only show up when it's time to wrap up the report. I mean, some of us have done that ourselves, and some of us may have been part of teams where you have people like that. So you want to make sure that you engage these people, right? The people you're working with. You want to make sure that you try to build the ability to understand people. Because good leadership is about understanding how people think. So many times when people say leadership is influence, it's not necessarily influence to control them. It's influence in terms of understanding how they think and being able to communicate with them in such a way that they would respond to your leadership. Do we get that? So when we say leadership is influence, it's not that you tell them, like we do here in Africa, you tell them, carry that file, trek 10 kilometers and drop it in that other office. And the person will say, yes, sir. No, that's not leadership. Leadership is really about understanding people, understanding their motivations, understanding their style, their personality style, so that you would be able to work with them based on who they are. Do you understand? You're not trying to change them. You're not trying to make them like you. You're trying to teach them. You're trying to inspire them. You understand? And one of the ways you do that is by building trust. And how do you build trust? Is by understanding the personality type of the people you are working with and being able to communicate with them at their own level. There's something I wrote down, which is about have anybody, I'm sure, I think it's a weird question to ask, but have any of you ever witnessed the building of a bridge? Have you seen where a bridge? Okay, let's talk about road, like road. Just yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Let's use road. Have you seen where a road was being constructed? Good, 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 good. Good, good. Okay, everybody here has seen a road being constructed or a bridge. Now, why did I mention this? Have you observed something about roads and bridges? They don't suddenly appear. They are not even like crops that grow. Have you seen a bridge just grow? No, it doesn't, right? And the reason for that is because building roads, constructing houses, and every type of construction activity requires intentional effort. Requires a team, requires deep level of intentionality. All right? So I want you to be intentional. I mean, I'm happy that you guys are participating on this program, But the greatest benefit for you on this program is not winning the first prize or second prize. The greatest benefit from this program to you as a leader or team player is your ability to contribute meaningfully to that activity. It's your ability to, after 2 or 3 weeks, when this is all over, you have formed new relationships, you have new friends, you have new people. I mean, some of you might not be able to see each other physically right now because of the COVID, but you should be able to keep your relationships. All right, you should be able to have people that you can even go on to build other things with. People should be inspired by your leadership, by your followership. All right, because during these projects you had the end in mind. You know, the people who construct houses or bridges, they think ahead. They anticipate challenges. They anticipate difficulties. They have a vision of what the end goal is all about. And because they have that vision, they are able to manage relationships very well. All right. So I want to encourage you to unleash your leadership ability, to unleash your ability to guide these people. I'm going back now to the definitions you gave to me at the beginning of this conversation about leadership, and about the qualities of a good leader. You observe I'm not talking about passion, I'm not talking about empathy, but instead I'm talking about you, the leader, you. And I want you to be so confident about yourself that the next time somebody asks you, give me an example of a great leader you will mention your name without feeling intimidated or without feeling like you're lying or without feeling like you're an impostor. Do you understand? I want you to believe in yourself. I mean, I have a lot of books I read on leadership, on business and all that, but I have a good self-esteem of myself. And as Africans, we must begin to see ourselves as great leaders. We must begin to see ourselves as people who have the ability to make changes happen now in our immediate environment. We must stop thinking of, do I use that as a sentence? Maybe I want to say, we must see ourselves as a greater version of Nelson Mandela. We must see ourselves as a greater version of Martin Luther King. I think there was someone who gave a definition here, and the person talked about being able to influence your generation. All right? And I really love that. I really, really love that. Being able to influence your generation. Leadership is about stewardship. It's about getting things done and being accountable for resources or things that have been given to you. So with that being said, I want to thank every one of you for giving me your time, your attention. I want this to be very interactive, so I would like to spend some time responding to questions that you might have. So thank you very much. I would like to take questions for the remaining part of the time that we have together. So is Cynthia there?
Yes, I'm there. Would you prefer they put their questions in the chat, or would you prefer they ask the question so I can unmute anyone who would be willing to ask?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to ask the question, they can. I would like to hear them or see them. And then, if your network is not good, I would like you to type your question. Or if you feel like typing your question, just type it here, And
so if you have a question, you can raise your hand, and then I'm going to unmute you. And then if you feel like you should type, then go ahead. So I have Arome Ibrahim from Nigeria. I will unmute you now. Arome Ibrahim. Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ibrahim. Good evening.
Thank you so much for the insightful session. It's amazing. My question is as a young Nigerian and also young African, you are sometimes troubled with having so many ideas and so many projects that you love to work on, right? How do you stay focused on just a particular solution that you know would be impactful instead of delving into different projects at a time?
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I had that question addressed in my book. So there was something I developed, a methodology I developed called stripes. Let me look for it. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's on page 46 of the winning streak. So there's something called threats tool, and the idea is on how to focus on one idea. So in this book, I used a case study of an entrepreneur called Mark who has um, who has 6 business ideas that he wants to pursue. So it's a real life case study actually of someone who asked me the same question. So what I do is that I'm going to ask you to list out all the ideas you want to pursue. So if you have 5 ideas or 6 ideas, list them out. So this entrepreneur actually had 6 ideas. So the first idea he told me he had was that he wanted to start a blockchain tech company. Another, he said he also wanted to launch a cryptocurrency website. Then he said he also wanted to launch a fashion business. The fourth idea he had was to launch an online polling app for online voting. Then the fifth idea he said he wanted to launch was to launch a tech business that helped SMEs develop an online presence or website. Then the last idea he said he had was that he wanted to start a maize farm. So he was confused on which one to follow. So I developed a tool called Threads that helps you solve that problem. So you have to pass the idea through 5 criteria. The first criteria, so the way Threads is spelled, I'm going to show you how it's spelled so that you guys can see it. This is how I spell Threads. Okay, that's it there. So the first is called T for technicality. The second is resources. Just give me a minute. Second is resources. The third is timing of the idea. Then the next is sales potential. Then the last one is called scale. How far can this idea go? So threats. Now using the threats methodology, the first thing you ask is, so you draw a table. I hope you guys can see this. If you can see, you draw a table like this, okay? And the table, for each idea primarily, just ask yourself, do I have the technical ability to make this idea happen? So you put a yes or a no. Do I have the resources to make this idea happen? You put a yes or a no. Then you ask yourself another question: is the timing of this idea right? Can I make the prototype of this idea in 1 month's time or in 2 months' time, like within 1 or 2 months? The answer should be a yes or a no. Then you should also ask yourself another question on sales. How soon can I begin selling and making money? Yeah, answer should be a no. But if you feel like you can quickly, after 1, 2, or 3 months, can start making money, then your answer should be yes. Then the fifth question you should ask yourself is that beyond your current location, can my product be easily distributed to people in other geographic locations, maybe nationally or internationally? The answer should be a yes or a no. Excuse me. So with that being said, all right, we expect that with your analysis of these ideas, you are going to see a pattern emerge. For some of the ideas, it's going to be no, no, no. So on this one here, for the blockchain idea, it was no, 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 no. So in terms of the 6 criteria, the idea failed. All right. In terms of the 5 criteria, the idea failed. The second idea was on launching a cryptocurrency. So it was no, 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 yes. So the idea would work at scale, but fails on all the other criteria. So you don't go ahead with it. The next question is about the next criteria was applied. Next idea was fashion business. So the entrepreneur said yes, no, no, yes. So which means that the idea fails on resources, timing, and sales. But the guy has the ability to get it done, and he can start making, and it could grow. Okay. Then the next idea was on polling. So the idea was the answer was yes, 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 no, no. So in terms of sale, he doesn't know how to make money and he doesn't know how to scale. Then the next idea was yes, 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 everything, which was on building websites and online presence for SMEs. It was yes, 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 all true. Then the last one was on starting a maize farm. So the answer was no, 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 yes, yes. And so at the end of the day, you see that the idea to work on is idea number 5, right? Which is launch a tech business that helps SMEs develop an online presence. And guys, I'm pleased to let you know that that entrepreneur currently has a company that produces websites for other clients across Africa and the world. So that is a methodology I developed to help people select an idea to focus on. Okay, so I believe that answered your question, Arome. I'm sure you guys learned from it, right? Just say yes, yes. Like if you feel like that was really useful to you. I'd like to get your feedback on that too. Tell me how you felt about the tool. Oh, nice. Very useful. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. So let's get more questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Israel. Great. Okay.
So I have one question here. It says, what do you do when the people you are leading think they are more qualified than you?
What do you do when the people you are leading think they are more qualified than you? Who asked that question? Okay, maybe I shouldn't ask who asked the question.
Ogene Carol.
Okay, Carol. Okay, that's a good question. So leadership is not about who has the highest qualification. In fact, a lot of the great leaders we know are people who, in fact, many times you would have to lead people who you are smarter than and who have more qualifications than you. For example, the president of every country in the world is not necessarily the best or most qualified person, right? But they still have to lead. So one of the first things you want to do, that's why the first thing I thought about was like, how do you see yourself? You need to see yourself as someone who is a leader, who is capable of leading people. So it means that if Dangote is on your team, you will lead Dangote. How many of you feel like you hand over the baton to Dangote if Dangote was assigned? Just, who am I to lead people? I can't, but I will just follow. I'll follow you, sir. No, that's not the thing. It's that you need to exercise self-confidence. You need to believe in yourself. You need to exercise boldness, but you also need to be able to listen. You also need to be able to listen to their ideas. That was why I talked about understanding your personality type. So if you are the creative type, you know that you must listen more instead of suggesting, and then you want to get them involved. You want to assign them roles, and make sure that you are always in charge. For example, if you are going to have a 1-hour meeting or a 30-minute meeting, before the meeting, draft an agenda, share to everyone that, guys, this is what I'm thinking we should talk about. But it's open to correction. If I don't get correction or your inputs on it, I will assume you guys love it. and people can contribute to an agenda like what do we discuss. So you want to listen more, and you are listening because you want to build trust, and you want them to believe in your leadership, all right? And then you're just like super focused on getting things done. So that's how I would probably go about getting those things. And you want to be very respectful, of those people. And then if you have people who are more qualified than you on your team, that's a very, very good thing. That's a very, very good thing, because it just shows at the end of that of this program, it means that you would have been able to demonstrate and that you have the ability to lead people more intelligent than you. Is that not exciting, guys? That's very exciting, right? That is very, very exciting. So, and that was one of the reasons we did this program, to give you an opportunity to lead, all right? To give you an opportunity to lead. So, I think number one, you should be excited about it, you should be joyful about it. I have people who are even, so it means that the work on yourself is less. It means that your team is empowered, right? So, you want to look out for their skills, you want to look out for where they are very good at, where they have some experience at, look at their CVs and all those things, and then assign them some roles. So, for example, if someone is good with sales and marketing, get them to do your sales and marketing component of your plan. Let them lead that aspect, like co-lead that aspect with you. Let them speak from their area of expertise. Things like that. So with that, by giving them a platform, by listening to them, by guiding them, somebody talked about leadership as the ability to guide. I think that was one of the definitions I got at the beginning of our class today. Another person talked about to whom more is given, more is expected. So if you have on your team people who are better than you, or in quotes, because nobody is really better than another person, but in terms of people who are more influential, people who have more qualifications than you, then you should have a healthy self-esteem. One of the things I was discussing with my staff a few days ago was that many times as Africans we are quiet, we get easily intimidated, and that's a form of pride. I was telling my staff that inferiority complex is pride, superiority complex is pride, and pride comes before a fall. So if you are with people and you are feeling intimidated, you are a proud person. You are not being humble. You are very proud. Do you understand? If you feel like the boss, you are better than everybody, you are also proud. If you feel shy, you are a proud person. So shyness is a type of pride. All right? If you are a fearful type, you are also very proud because you are extremely fearful. All right? So you want to get rid of pride. You want to get rid of pride. You want to make sure that you are not inferior. You don't feel inferior. And you just want to feel confident about who you are as a person. But don't let anybody pull you down. I mean, that's not to say you should quarry, but that's just to say that you should be able to, you should be on top of situations, and all that, and don't be proud. And by pride, I do not mean don't feel superior. I also mean don't allow inferiority complex to take you. Because many of us, when we see people, we just, especially Nigerians, I don't know if we do that in Uganda too, or in Kenya, Cote d'Ivoire. In Nigeria, many times when you see someone who is more than you, or who has more money than you, or more status than you, Nigerians have a way of bowing down their heads. Like, yes sir, like, that's a form of inferiority. You should be able to, your shoulders high, talk to people as a normal human being, So when you are unnecessarily intimidated, you're a proud person. Okay? So I know some of you have not thought about it this way, but inferiority complex is also a form of pride. Okay? So I hope that addresses that question. I'm sure I've done over justice to that.
Okay, let's take some more questions. Before I read out some more questions, let me give Opeyemi audience to ask a question.
Go ahead and
Thank
speak.
you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir, for the session. I really learned a lot. Okay, so my question is more about your experience in leadership, and I would like to know what are the challenges that you faced, and what are the things that kept you going? Because leadership at some point you get overwhelmed, and there's like you are having to balance a lot of things. So how have you been able to balance work, family, and other aspects of your life? And what's that drive that keeps you going? Thank you very much.
Okay, that's a very good question. Thanks for asking that question, Opayemi. In terms of my leadership journey, I've faced a number of challenges. In fact, a lot of challenges. And one of the first challenge I faced was that, normally as a young African, many times depends on the type of home you come out from. You always feel easily intimidated. You know, we look up to politicians, we look up to governors, presidents, as big names. We have some of these top CEOs are big as big names. So many times those things look far away. You know, so I had to break that barrier to coming to that point where I believe in myself. That I'm able to be the kind of person that can also inspire people. So that has to do with some form of personal development on yourself. For those of you who are religious, sometimes you also have to pray about it to make sure that you get rid of all those form of inferiority complex and all that. Because without that, even if you are made the president of the country, you just end up in a very terrible way. So that was one of the first challenge I faced. Then I think another challenge I faced also was that I always want to do things with people. So I'm kind of like gregarious or communal. I'm a type of person, instead of me to do something myself, I'll go and find a co-founder, or I'll go and find someone that because I don't want to go the journey alone. So just having someone you're working with, kind of makes you feel like a leader, and also makes you feel like you have someone who believes in you, and all that. So, and that hasn't really worked so well for me, because at the end of the day, most of the people I recruit are going to be people who want to join because I'm their friend, or they will join because they want to be supportive, but they necessarily do not have the skill needed to make that business work. So that's one thing I had to actually work on, to learn how to um, recruit the best people and not be biased because of the friendships I have with those people. So that's a very important lesson in leadership for me, and also to also realize that as a leader, you succeed alone and you fail alone. That's just the truth. In fact, if you have a team and you end up not even submitting a proposal, irrespective of the story behind it, you as the leader, you bear the consequences of it, right? So you have to be fully responsible you have to believe that you are responsible for the success and failure of your team, and so that you are committed to the outcomes, and all that. So that's also a challenge I faced. Always trying to believe more in other people instead of believing in myself. In fact, I have the ability at a time, I will leave my own thing and go and focus on other people's one, because I will believe in your own more than my own, and that was something that I had to also work on. So like, hey, I'm a creative person, I have the ability to bring out ideas that can change the world. And I have the ability to lead those ideas, to lead my staff, without necessarily bringing in another person to come and help me. So I've learned to plant my own trees. Planting my own trees. I think that is one of the biggest lessons in leadership. Just knowing that sometimes you have to do this alone. And many times you don't need a support, you don't need a sponsor, you don't need a co-founder, you don't need someone to believe in you. You just have to believe in this idea, in your own vision, and get it done, with or without the support of other people. So those are some of the ideas, some of the struggles I've had, and some of the struggles I've had to work on as a person. And one of the ways, one of the major tools for transforming my leadership, my personal leadership, has been mentors. Oh, like if you have a very, very good mentor, a very good mentor that has your time and believes in you, you are a very fortunate person. Many young people will never be able to realize their potential because they don't have a mentor they can call. I mean, right now, I have like two or three mentors that if I have a challenge, no matter how difficult that challenge is, I can call them and discuss it with them. You need to have people like that because Dr. Mike Woodard said that there are two ways to learn in life. You can learn by mistakes or you can learn by mentors. So you should get a mentor. A mentor should be someone that you can access either physically or virtually through phone call. Should be someone who agrees to mentor you, someone who believes in you, someone you can be intimate with, and you must pursue your mentor. You must struggle, or do I use the word? You must prioritize maintaining your relationship with your mentor. Do you understand? You must make it a priority to maintain your relationship with your mentor. And get a mentor who is also a good leader because it would help you to see your flaws and help you work on yourself. Your mentor is not discouraged by your weakness. Your mentor is inspired to help you rise above your weakness. So those are some of the things you should really look out for. Have I answered your question adequately, Opeyemi?
Yes, you have. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Opeyemi, please go ahead and mute yourself. I'm going to also give Gregory the chance. Gregory Idu, please go ahead and speak. Sorry, just 1 second.
All right, thank you, and good evening to you, everybody. My name is Gregory, and I just want to ask two questions quickly. First, in doing some kind of social innovation, what strategy can one use in order to generate revenue? Because I have a couple of ideas, and many times I'm being asked, how do I hope to generate money from my idea? A lot of social innovators are just there, and many times they are stranded as per not having access to funds and all of that. So what would you recommend, sir, that I do in this regard? And my second question is, we are just 4 in our team at the moment. Actually, 5 of us were assigned to the team, but up till now we have 4 people, and 2 of us have been active so far. 1 person from South Sudan and the other person from Nigeria. Both of them have not been active, but they actually filled out the form on the Google contact list. So I want to know, because it's really so overwhelming for us. Of course, we have had we're almost through with our design challenge. We are done. So, but how do we go forward from here, sir? Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, that's a very normal problem to face many times. So one of the things you can tell your team members when you give them assignment, ask them to submit it at a specific time. All right. And then also mention that if people do not contribute to the team, when you are doing your final report or so, you will not be able to mention them on the team, and ask them to, no matter how little they can contribute, right? They should contribute, because the truth of the matter is that, was it Pareto, an economist called Pareto? Pareto said that developed a principle called Pareto principle, that 80%, of contribution is being made by 20% of the people. So if you have a team of 5 people, it is most likely that 1 or 2 persons are going to be the ones driving the team, and it is normal. It is normal to see something like that. So it's going to be like 2 people or 3 people, if you are fortunate, who will be driving some of these things. So for those people who are not contributing, try to reach out to them, ask them what the challenge is, know what their constraints are, and then they can talk about how they would um, ask them what do you feel, what area is there an area you would like to contribute to, blah blah. But if they end up not replying your messages or responding back to your calls, you can just drop them a message or an email, that please, I need you to do 1, 2, 3, and I need you to do it at this time. If you are not contributing to the team, we will not be able to include your name on the final report, but that you really would like to have them contribute to the team. That's all. Do you understand? And then back to the first question you asked a question about financial sustainability or income generation. So I would like to ask you, do you want to talk briefly about, like in 30 seconds, about the idea you're talking about, so that we have like a real context to addressing that question?
Okay. Like over time, I have always, like some of the projects I've participated in, especially having to train people and then empower them financially. I've done this several times with team members actually, but like trying to be alone now, what do I do? Like I want to, like one of the initiatives is to empower people and support them financially to start up their own enterprises.
Okay, so you're trying to give out money, like micro lending or something.
Yes, not just give out money, like first of all, build them in capacity, knowledge, and skills, and then empower them financially to start their own businesses or enterprises.
Okay, so do you kind of like have a lot of money you want to give out to them?
How about trying to connect them to sources of finance, like connect them to financial institutions for loans or give them access to grants and so on and so forth. But on my own part, my concern is, how do I generate funds for my own self?
Yeah, that's a very good question you asked. So one of the mistakes, like many times social entrepreneurs make, right? We are so passionate about the people we want to help that we forget about ourselves. And you are not alone. In fact, I suffered from that at the beginning stage of my career. And so one of the things I would like to tell you, in an aeroplane, yeah, in the aeroplane, they'll tell you that in case of emergency, there is a nose mask under your seat. Pick that nose mask and wear that nose mask, because that nose mask gives you access to oxygen, right? Then after you have worn your mask, that's before you now wear the mask on your child. Do you know what that means? What that means is that you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of other people. Two poor people can't help themselves. If you don't have money, the people you are trying to have don't have money, you are all going to the ground. Do you understand? So you need to have before you can give, or else both of you will be trapped in poverty. Now, with that being said, what I probably would encourage you to do would be to, if I could ask Gregory, is Gregory still there?
He's muted.
Is Gregory still on the call?
He's muted, so I'm going to.
Okay, can you unmute him? Gregory, I need you to tell me what type of people are you talking about? Do they have like? Can you unmute Gregory?
Yes,
Gregory.
Yes, sir.
The people you work with, are they farmers? What type of people are they?
Okay, like in my recent past projects, most of them are not learned, so it's more of artisans and stuff. But I want to like upgrade it. Yes.
Are they tailors? What type of artisans?
Okay, yeah, tailor, barbers, and so on and so forth.
And so what I would advise you to do, all right, would be to look for a commodity that you can supply those people. So, for example, when I started my work, I was working with farmers, creating low-cost feed for them. In fact, they can almost wreck you because they would like to buy on credit. They would like so many wahala and all those problems. So what you want to do is to build a sustainable business, a completely for-profit business. So let's assume that you are working with, I think you just mentioned a set of people now. Skip my mind. Welders, right?
Babas, yeah,
Barbers, and all. So just when you study the demography, if probably let's say you are trying to target 500 people, 1,000 people, let's say 500 of them are barbers or 500 of them are welders. Try to set up a business that supplies them an input. So if it is the barbers, let's say hair creams, if it is tailors, maybe materials, something that they buy frequently for their trade. So once you set that up, that thing will be giving you money and generating some income for you. After you have done that, then you can now start trying to help them. But this time you are helping them from a position of strength. So I'm just saying, try to distribute a product or a service for profit, not to help. You are buying and selling. Yeah. Once you have done that,
yes,
and you have something for yourself, when month end, you have something to feed yourself and take care of your family that is stable, then you cannot think properly to help.
yeah.
You understand? So, or else,
Yes,
what
sir.
is going to happen is that, have you heard of 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1? The average is, it should be 1 or 1.2. Or else they will drag you down. If you're a 10 and the people you're trying to help is a 1, before you know, by the time you do an average, you yourself, you end up like a 2 or 3. Okay? So 2 poor people can help themselves. That's my advice. Try to make yourself strong economically first before you try. Now imagine we're trying to do this program we're doing, and we, myself and my wife Cynthia, or our team, let's say we don't have money, or let's say we don't have money to finance this program and all those things. What are we doing? So does that mean that after this program is over, I believe there are some gifts or prizes, right, that should be given out at the end of the day. Now imagine if we're even trying to look for sponsors. Can you imagine that kind of thing? Then you finish this program after all this wonderful training and seminar and all these things. Then when I start telling you that, oh, sorry, there was an issue with the laptop or the price money or whatever, I mean, that's just not fair, right? You know, so we cannot be disadvantaged and trying to help. You know, I mean, it doesn't make economic sense. So I would advise you to make sure you get yourself stabilized first. Don't worry yourself. There was something Jesus said: "The poor you will always have with you. They will not be finished. 10 years time, you will still be poor people. Even in America, there are many poor people. In Saudi Arabia, there are many poor people. So the poor people will always be there. So make sure you get yourself economically settled first before trying to go and help other people. Or else you will not have oxygen to breathe. And they too will not have oxygen to breathe. So what I'm trying to say is that the more prosperous you are as an individual, the more useful you will be to people. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Who is next? Agbola?
Okay. So let's take Abola.
Hi, Agbola.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, sir, for your story, first of all, because I was highly inspired. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. To learn, like, it was so mind-shifting for me, from the definition of leadership to who you are. Like, this is the first time someone is bringing up a new concept of who you are to me. I've been hearing who you are a lot of times, but this just blew my mind. So thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful lecture. So my question is, if you want to run an NGO, a non-governmental organization, like for farmers, for low-income farmers, you want to provide them a service, and you are not making money from it, or actually, you're not making making money from it? How can you run it to make money for yourself? And share with me your personal experience of the one you run. Is it a non-profit organization or is a money-making organization?
Okay, thank you, Agba. So, for us, I think if I heard your question well, right, you're saying that how do you run a service that isn't making money for farmers? Is that what you're saying?
No, you are running it. You are not making money from farmers, yes, but you are running a service that is non-profit. So how can you make money from such an organization? You are not probably going. You are not making money from farmers directly.
Oh, okay, okay, good. So for us, we currently do not make money in our company, and the reason for that is because we are focused on solving a social problem, which is digitalization of the farming industry. And so and a lot of farmers are still not online, and all those things. So for that reason, it's a social innovation project. So we get funding from international organizations such as Google Foundation and all that. They give us a grant, and with that grant, we're able to finance the production of the app, the production of the service, and deliver that service to farms. And then we also include a small fee to charge big farms. So there are different kind of farmers. There are smallholder farmers and large scale farmers. So we tell the large farms that, see, if you are able to, if you want to subscribe to this same service that is benefiting the small scale farmers, pay a fee. That way we're able to sustain this whole thing. You understand? So it's kind of like a freemium model, premium and premium. So for the people who are very small farm, 100 beds, 500 beds is free. 1,000 beds is free. But once you say you're doing 5,000 or 10,000 chickens, you pay for it. You understand? So that is one way we've gone about solving that issue. So we're still looking at it to see how it's going to work.
Okay. And one more thing, sir. I want to ask, can we get a copy of this record after the section?
Yes, you will.
Oh, you guys?
Definitely.
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much. That's my
And I'll encourage you to check the Google Classroom. Most of the recordings we've had before are right there, so you can go to the previous one. The one for yesterday will come in tomorrow, so definitely you'll get this too.
And then, Agbola, I'll ask you a question. You made mention of like, there was something about the leadership perspective you learned today that was really helpful. Can you tell me exactly what that was? And then if there are anybody on the class who understands what he's saying, please just drop a comment in the chat box.
So let me reintroduce myself. My name is Agbola Oloruntopa. I am a light, and I'm a people's helper, or I offer serve. I help people to become a better version of who they are by performing personal training coach. I'm a teens coach, so I render that by training teens on personal development. I also render that by helping young people to get skills on public speaking and have access to more books and opportunities to grow their mind. So that was the perspective I gained, and you telling yourself that you're also a leader, not only the people that we have mentioned, people like Barack Obama or Nelson Mandela, but also having that mindset that I'm a leader and working in that consciousness that wherever I get to or wherever I see myself, or it's not about the matter of pride, but that is who I am. I'm a leader.
Exactly. Thank you for that. I think I love that. I love to see that. I love the fact that
I would love to intern with you.
Yeah, why not send an email to Cynthia.
Much for this opportunity. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate. So my question is something that has been bothering me ever since we were assigned to. And since we are talking about leadership, let me just ask my question. So in a setting whereby leaders are selected, what if your leader is not carrying out his or her responsibilities? Now you're part of the team. You know that if things are not done, everything might go wrong, and this will affect you. What do you do without being criticized by showing yourself and some other derogatory comments coming from the members of your team? That's my question.
Oh yeah, yeah, I understand. So you have a highly engaged member, but you have a leader who is not showing the commitment. So I mean, leadership again is not about position, right? So the fact that you are the designated leader gives you authority, but it's not. But effectiveness is not about position; it's about contribution. All right. So when it comes to the tasks on the team, you want to make sure that there are two ways of going about it. You can call the leader and say, it seems like you're very busy, oh, and you have a lot of things doing, you know. Um, I can help you. Me, I have a lot of free time and I have experience doing this, doing that. I would like to help you succeed, right? I would like to help you succeed. Then probably it's going to be so interesting and like, oh, tell me more. Say, okay, this thing we're trying to do, we're supposed to write this, do this. I can help you do half of it, and all I just need from you is support. Just support, push me out there, give me platform and all those things. And then you take all the glory at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, you'll see the leader will be responding to you and will not feel threatened. And when other members in the team see that he's supportive, they will feel like, okay, they want to also listen to you. So it's called tact. Let me write it down. You can Google it later. It's called tact. It's like tact, the word coined towards tactics. So it's a tact. It's just being like, it's kind of like you're being, it's a type of statesmanship. You're trying to be diplomatic, in how you go about it. So many times everything is about communication. Once someone feels that their position is being threatened, they will go, they want to react against you. But once they feel like you are trying to help them succeed, everybody likes the free gifts, right? So once they feel like you're trying to help them succeed, they will want to support you. So you need to show some form of diplomacy and tact, and contact the leader yourself. Call them, talk to them, make them feel good, and just tell them that you want to really see them succeed, and like you're willing to contribute to them. And everybody loves a good team player. So make sure that, because there are times on the team, like I said, even the leader not be showing stuff. And so you don't let that be an excuse for why you don't contribute. So make sure, just try to communicate with them, even if it is once or twice, so that you have their support, And then if in an exceptional case where the leader is not showing, then you just try to go ahead and coordinate with the other team members and get things done, because there's no point being a team here and people are not contributing. So if you observe that there are one or two persons who are responding to you and the leader, after talking with them, is still not responding to you, call them and coordinate them and write the proposal. You guys do the proposal and submit.
Glad I am to be here this afternoon, and I'm greeting you for this opportunity that you are giving me. I'm from team 30, and I'm just a member. One of my questions has already taken by the other intervener. So my question right now is to know if the idea that we are going to work on it, is it possible to get support from you? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
When the idea is finally, and it will be nice for you, is it possible to get support from you?
Okay, so I may not understand the question well, but I think what I hear you say is that it seems like you guys are working on an idea, and it seems to me like you would like to implement it after the program. So you're asking if you could get some support, right? Is that the question, Linker?
I can't get you. Please, can you repeat?
So are you saying that the project you're working on, you would like to implement it, so you're looking for some form of support on the idea?
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, I'm listening.
because I think this idea is very innovative, and I'm firmly sure that after presenting it, at the end, it will get a great support. It will give, uh, it will get the attention of those people who are going to hear us. But I'm wondering if we are going to get a support in the case to make it happen in reality. That's what I want to know, right?
Okay, great. I am aware that the idea of this program is to help you build your leadership skills, your teamwork skills, your ability to utilize digitalization skills for the growth of your personal businesses. So, if, for example, you decide that at the end of the day you want to go ahead to implement the idea, that is completely up to you guys. Um, uh, that is completely up to you guys. And then maybe that would be at the discretion of Cynthia to figure out if some form of additional support in terms of maybe fundraising support or which may involve teaching you how to apply for grants. Now, one of the things I might be happy to do, I have a book. I have detailed how to raise money for your business or for your NGO. It's based on my experience raising hundreds of thousands of dollars globally. So I kind of expose 40 secrets to doing that in this book. So maybe one of the things I might be able to do to support may be to put this book, maybe like the soft copy on Amazon or something, and
We
get
are
it to you at a discounted price or something. I don't know. But that would be. I just like the website for the book in case you guys. The second one is correct. Thewinningstreak.org. Okay. What's the last question?
I have done with my question because
thank you guys very much.
Okay.
Okay, so I think
Okay.
I think that's off because we're already on time. So I think we're done for today. First, I want to appreciate you, Mene Blessing, for this wonderful opportunity. It's really good to have you.
Thank you.
And I also would like to plead for an opportunity to teach them how to write grants. That's a really important session. Practical grant and proposal writing, if that's what you'll be willing to do.
Okay.
So maybe we could have that some other time because there'll be a part of their tasks that where they will have to write like a series of proposal questions and relates to their ideas, the ideas they kind of develop during this process. So it would be good to see how to communicate it in the way that we seek. So thank you. So everyone, thank you so much for your time. What I want you to do right now, like we did yesterday, I'm going to unmute you shortly. 1 second. Let me see. So what I want you to do, just type something down in the chat. Just one thing you learned from this session. Just one word that you learned from this session. Type something in the chat quickly. One word. Self-confidence, yeah. No tax is impossible. Incentive meeting. Understand people, self-discovery. I am a great leader. Good. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. I think that's all. So we will send out an email later on to have so if you have any major challenge, please send it via email. We'll handle it. Then I will take out time either tomorrow or next or Tuesday to do a virtual session to answer any challenge you're having in your team, any complaint with the folder, and also walk you through how you should go about your tasks and as well the deliverables. Okay, thank you and have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye to you all. You're muted, so you can say anything and then leave. Bye.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
man.
so much. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Bye-bye.